Hey guys, Doeboy here. You might know me from my Twitch stream or Smash tournaments as a long-time Samus main. I'm super stoked for Smash Ultimate, and now with Dark Samus on board, I'm even more excited. I want everyone to know everything we possibly can about this big bad boss in the Metroid Prime series in Ultimate, and there's a lot to go over. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So first I just want to start with a little theory that I have, and that the name Echo Fighter could possibly actually come from Dark Samus being an Echo character, because Dark Samus in her games creates echoes of herself, where they're basically just clones that move around that will also attack Samus, and so that's where the name Echo Fighter might come from in Smash Ultimate. Aesthetically, Dark Samus, to me, is perfect. They based her on her Metroid Prime 3 model, which in Metroid Prime 3 didn't necessarily look too great, because just kind of graphical limitations. I think what the developers wanted at the time versus what showed on screen were different, but this is probably what they were going for. They really nailed it in this game. She's badass, she's creepy. I mean, really, she's creepy. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. She's awesome. She's got Phazon tendrils coming out when she shoots a missile. She's got Phazon-y blue fire for all of her moves. It's fantastic. Her starting animation is from the Metroid Prime 2 game, where she comes out of a portal, and her victory animation is, at least one of them anyways, is so cool to me. I don't know why, it has so much power and weight to it, and it really drives home, I'm an evil character and I just beat you. It shows her remerging with one of her echoes, although in a weird way, it's not exactly an echo, because the echoes that Dark Samus creates have a black visor instead of a blue visor, so something I noticed and I can't unsee, and now you guys can't unsee either. Her first taunt shows her radiating Phazon from her body and does a bit of a spooky spin. Her second taunt that we see is her again radiating Phazon standing tall alongside her buddy old pal Metaridley. Her third taunt, we see her doing a kneeling pose, holding her arm cannon, and of course she faces away. We don't really get to see her. Maybe she doesn't like us very much. Final Smash is her own version of the Zero Laser, and we can actually notice that her arm cannon breaks apart, which is something of a reference to how Samus's arm cannon just within the Smash Bros. Series will come apart to shoot a Zero Laser, and so that's kind of her version, but also she does have her arm cannon break apart in other moves in other instances, so we'll see that coming up. Now, the stuff that's the same for Dark Samus is actually way more than I first thought it would be. All of her smash attacks, all of her tilts, all of her aerials, her grab, and her throws are all exactly the same. The frame data, the angle variations, presumably the hitboxes, potentially the hurtboxes that Dark Samus has will be slightly different because the animation itself is slightly different, but otherwise it's exactly the same as Samus. I went through basically every single move frame by frame, compared it to Samus, and they are all identical.
Here at Doeboy HQ, we do the work so you don't have to.
Now I will say a few things about that though. We haven't seen her down smash, but that's presumably going to be the same. And we haven't seen her jab at all, and so that could be exactly the same, which is most likely the case to me, but it also could be a very different jab, similar to what they did for Roy in Smash 4, compared to Roy's jab just being a complete clone from Marth's. So it could be very different. It could also be exactly the same. I personally think it'll be exactly the same. Now, I could be wrong about one of the things that I've said. It's tough to apply a total blanket statement to such a big category of moves, but I really did look at it. I really do think all those moves are the same. They might be different on release. Again, this is all just kind of a tentative analysis, so it's tough to say exactly 100% for sure, but I am very confident that all of her A moves, her physical moves, are the same as they are for Samus. If you're wondering what they are for Samus, well, you gotta ask me to make a Samus analysis video to get into that. And so now that we've looked at all the similarities between Dark Samus and Samus in their individual kits, let's look at what the differences are and see why Dark Samus stands out as, yes, an Echo Fighter, but also her own character with different capabilities with her special moves and her defensive options that may set her above Samus in the metagame for Smash Ultimate. There are a few big pieces to talk about, so let's dive right into the first one, the electric effect. This is one of several effects in Super Smash Bros. That attacks can have. Other effects you may quickly think of are flame, ice, and even things like being asleep from a Jigglypuff rest. All of Samus's attacks that have a flame effect now have an electric effect for Dark Samus, with the exception of bombs and missiles. The electric effect causes two very important things to happen. The first of which is the hit lag or freeze frames of the attack increase by 50%. This means if the attack connects with with an opponent, the duration of the active frames of the attack itself increases by 50% and the opponent stays caught within those additional frames before flying away and knockback. This will give opponents a chance to use SDI, or Smash Directional Influence, to adjust their position before flying off. This could potentially cause problems for Dark Samus, because opponents will be able to have some say in where they end up when the attack completes, but it's still tough to say at this point if it will have a significant effect on Dark Samus players in 1v1 games. In doubles or free-for-all, however, this extra time that an opponent is caught allows for others, like a teammate, to have more time to get a sweet follow-up like Ridley does here. The other significant aspect to the electric effect is an additional frame of hit stun. This means the opponent is unable to perform an action 1 frame longer than usual. This isn't a whole lot, but I'm sure in the lifespan of the game it will matter somewhere. It's a small little buff, but hey, every frame matters in the long run. Forward smash, up smash, down tilt, forward air, and the new up throw all have the electric effect for Dark Samus instead of the flame effect like Samus has. Charge Shot and Z-Air continue to have the electric effect from Samus, of course. Screw Attack on Samus applies the electric effect on just the last hit, but on Dark Samus, it applies electricity to all hits of the attack. This might lead to opponents being able to SDI out of the move altogether, but it's still too early to tell. An entirely new place where the electric effect is applied is on Down Throw. Down Throw for Samus had no effect before, but it does in the case of Dark Samus. Seeing as this is one of the best combo starters for either character, the extra frame of hit stun on the down throw for Dark Samus might actually end up being a very big deal. Now for one of the biggest changes to Dark Samus, the roll. Let's roll right into it.
I am truly sorry.
Dark Samus's roll does not bring her into a morph ball animation, and it takes notably less time to complete because of that. But how much exactly, and what does that mean for Dark Samus players? Samus's roll in Smash 4 is a total of 63 frames. Samus's roll in Smash Ultimate is a total of 47 frames, which is 16 less frames already. That's actually a pretty big buff. However, Dark Samus's roll is a total of 39 or 40 frames, so 7 to 8 frames faster than Smash Ultimate Samus. That may not seem like a lot at first, but if you think about it, the average human reaction time is equal to about 13 frames. So that's almost like having a whole other human's reaction time less in roll duration. That's another pretty big buff from Smash 4 and a big buff compared to Smash Ultimate Samus. Now let's get into her special attacks. Her neutral special, the Charge Shot, is identical to how it was in Smash 4 and identical to how it is for Samus in Smash Ultimate. One difference is in the animation where you can see her arm cannon breaking apart. Previously, to cancel the charge, you could only shield, roll, or grab. What we see here from the new gameplay is that it looks like what might be happening is that you can jump, and jumping now cancels directly instead of having to shield and then jump. This might also tie into how you can jump cancel her charge while you're in the air, which is an entirely new mechanic. Jumping to cancel on the ground rather than shielding and jumping is an entirely new and faster way for Samus to cancel charge. You can still see the twinkle in her eye on her icon to confirm that she has the full charge, and the damage appears to be about the same. Here we can see what is almost a true combo. Dark Samus shoots her beam fairly uncharged and it leads to a forward tilt. Chrom is starting some sort of move here and has 5 frames to act before the forward tilt connects. 5 is a fairly small amount of time, but is enough time for an air dodge to come out to avoid it altogether. Not a true combo, but probably still quite safe to go for because your opponent will likely suffer lag from an air dodge, which can lead to other follow-ups. My guess is that Samus will also have this unless Dark Samus' shot has extra hit stun or hit lag, which is unlikely in my opinion. And can we just appreciate this brutal combo here? Her side special, the missiles, both appear to be identical to Smash Ultimate Samus, with the same frame data and presumably all other properties. The biggest change here for both types is the momentum is maintained while in the air and off stage, which is amazing for applying pressure while recovering. My guess is that Samus will have this as well. Remember, this is a fire move and not an electric move. It also appears you may be able to shift your direction while shooting, as seen here with this super missile. For down special, the bomb itself seems to appear around frame 18 to 20, but it's hard to tell because the bomb spawns inside of her while in Morph Ball. Horizontal distance she gets might be a little better, and that's probably what this video is trying to tell us. I was initially thinking that this was definitely more distance than Ultimate Samus, but after everything I've watched, I'm unsure it's a huge amount like we all may have thought. It seems to function the same as Samus's otherwise. Again, this is a fire and not an electric move, and just like with Ultimate Samus, the bombs explode based on proximity and not based on a set amount of frames, which makes it better than Smash 4's Samus bomb in general. Up special is interesting. It appears to be more like melee up special with less knockback all around, making it more unsafe if you get hit on stage because your opponent will be closer to you, but better for comboing if you are returning to stage and are able to snap to a ledge. The reduced knockback means they might not be as far away. Jumping from ledge, you may be able to get a follow-up. Also notice the get-up animation from Freefall is so much different. This might actually in a weird way be a buff because her profile is so much lower for a large portion of the animation. It almost looks like it's incomplete, like the developers got lazy. Who knows, maybe this will change on release. Now the last thing which I haven't talked about yet, you may have noticed, is the dash attack. Both Samus's and Dark Samus's dash attack hitbox comes out on frame 8. That is the early hitbox, just like it is in Smash 4. One problem with this dash attack as compared to the Smash 4 dash attack for either character is that the first actionable frame is 42, which is 8 frames later than Smash 4 Samus dash attack, which is 34. This makes follow-ups much harder to get from a dash attack. She basically stalls at the start of her movement as well, rather than continuing to move forward, which makes it less of a burst option and less sudden to your opponent in play. I hope this gets adjusted, but don't hold your breath on that one. To be clear, both characters suffer from this extra end lag. In regards to the dash attack being different than Ultimate Samus, I'm actually not so sure. I love you, Esam. Believe me, I really do. But it does seem that the knockback angles are the same between Samus's and Dark Samus's dash attack. I found these 3 images from the treehouse. One shows a pretty clear 45-degree angle, another shows like a 60-degree angle, and another shows again a 45-degree angle. These knockback angles between Samus and Dark Samus seem like they're the same. I think the differences that we're seeing may just be in DI and not actually in how the move is programmed. Not saying that there isn't a difference, and there very well could be, but from the evidence that we have, they do look the same. If I'm wrong, feel free to come flame me while I'm streaming on Twitch. I'd love nothing more than that. In conclusion, Samus and Dark Samus are surprisingly similar in terms of all the numbers, damage, frame data, you name it. Overall, I think you can still play who you want without feeling like you need to switch to one or the other. Dark Samus's role may outright be the better choice, but from a fairly intense microscope on what we saw, the two are highly similar and both about equal, however good that may be in the future metagame. What's also important to note here is that until movement is optimized and until we have more concrete data, comparisons will always be vague no matter how hard we look, especially pre-release. If I miss something, and I'm sure I missed something, feel free to tell me in the comments below. Thanks to Marcin from Marcin's Domain for inspiring me to make this with his King K. Rool video. Thanks to Dream, Ellipsis, and the entirety of the Samus and Dark Samus Discord, which is the absolute best place to learn more about Samus and to talk to other Samus and Dark Samus players. Thanks to Tuxedo Esports for sponsoring me and being involved in the Super Smash Bros. Scene, the Rivals of Ether scene, Brawlhalla, and more. And by the way, guys, I'm moving to SoCal soon from New England, so you can catch me at MSM Weeklies at Beyond the Summit events where I'll be working, or online on Twitch, Twitter, or wherever you want. Thanks for watching. See you next mission.